This is Danny Flexent here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by the British middleweight champion, second reign currently going on, Denzel Bentley. How you doing?
Good, thanks. And yourself?
I'm very good, thank you. You've retained your title once again against Marcus Morrison at the weekend. Was it, I'm not going to say easier, but was it shorter than you thought it was going to be?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely. I was expecting a little bit more. I was ready to, I was ready for that little bit more as well. But listen, I ain't complaining.
You're not always the fastest starter. You're very patient, and I say that in a positive sense. But you just kind of, once you got the edge in the fight, you seem to really put your foot on the gas.
Yeah, that was instructions from my corner this fight to just go with him. I knew we could be hurt, but I knew it was tough. But I know Morrison, one of those guys where he's reactive. So when I let my shots go, he was going to let his shots go. But if I was to hurt him, I knew he would kind of cover up a little bit. So early round, yeah, put me on the top of the head a bit, threw me off. But then once I saw his nose going, I thought, all right, it's time to let off. Let's make that worse than it is. Let's kind of damage, anything I need to damage. Yeah.
You're trying to say it and trying to stay nice, but there's no nice way of saying it, is there? You saw an injury, you smelled blood literally and targeted it.
Yeah, literally, exactly that. That's exactly what it was. That's why I was letting off so much. But obviously, in between, he was just letting off shots and catching me in between, which I know I've got to be more careful in the future. But because of the opponent in front of me, that's the type of fight it was, and that's the type of fight I went with.
How happy were you with the performance overall? I know you feel there's things to work on, but the general reception's been very positive.
Yeah, no, I think it was a good performance. I think, it couldn't have been better, to be honest. I think even when he fought Chris Eubank, he was catching him with them shots in between when Eubank was letting up as well. So we all know Marcus Morrison is dangerous. He throws big hooks. But I think it was a good performance. Like I said, I'm the first middleweight to stop him. I said I wanted to be the first middleweight to stop him. We'll build up. And yeah, man, I'm excited about that win.
He seems to have responded well to being out a bit more often as well, being a bit more active in the last few fights. What do you make of that?
Is that me?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I love being active. I don't like being at the gym too long or being at the ring too long, rather. So, I'd like to get out one more time this year again. I've only had 2 fights this year. I'm not on that Canelo money, so can't afford that. But yeah, no, I like being active. I think it brings a better version of me out. It allows me to get comfortable in the ring and find my rhythm and all these things. And I think I'm getting more comfortable in the ring now as it goes on. I've had 19 fights now, so it's like I'm real comfortable in the ring now. So I like that feeling. I don't want to lose that feeling.
How important was it to you that after the defeat, the only defeat on your record to Felix Cash, you didn't drop back down too much of a level? You came back in a good 10-rounder and then straight back in for the British title again.
It was very, very important. Even for that fight, I wanted even a little bit more of a better position just to show guys, look, don't write me off because I lost that. I'm at this level. You know what I'm saying? And most of all to prove to myself as well. So we were meant to come back to what's that his name? What's that guy? Andrew Robinson. Which is, which we thought was a good fight. And then that show got pulled. And then I ended up having to jump on that show with like 2.5 weeks notice against Sam Evans. In that fight. I think that's the fight that Lennox Clark had to pull out of. So I feel like that was the opponent he was meant to fight at that time. And obviously I had to fill in. So he was ready. He'd been in camp. So it wasn't like he hadn't been training or anything. I was the one with a short notice at that point. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
I just took it anyway because I wanted to fight. I was eager to fight and I was meant to fight September. Took that fight, got a third round stoppage and then straight back into it with Linus because, that's just the type of person I am. And I've been telling you from the jump, I just want to fight everyone. I'm on, at smoke, as they say.
And career-wise, do you feel you're back where you were before the Cash fight now?
Yeah, possibly in a better position as well because even when I was a British champion before the Cash fight, it was in lockdown. So it was kind of like underappreciated, if I'm being honest. Like, I was happy about the achievement, but it was like, everything's just better with a crowd and, it just makes the night better. It makes the story better of how it went. People could say they were there, they witnessed it. So to win it and then defend it with a crowd and 2 amazing shows, 2 amazing fights, it feels much better. I feel like I've even gone past that level before Cash again now. So I'm not back at the level I was at before Cash. I feel like I'm past that bit a little bit. I like that a little bit more.
I think it's one more British title win to secure the Lonsdale belt, because that'll be 4. I need to check if it's supposed to be all defences or not, because obviously 2 of them were title wins. But I think it is just one more win and you get the belt for keeps. But you're talking about going to world level as well. What's kind of the priority, if you like? Would you like to stay at British for one more if it means keeping that belt?
Yeah, like it's just whatever's available. You know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna hang around and wait for something to be available. I like being active. So if I can get out one more time this year, I'd let's take it for that. And then next year start pushing on for that world honors. Or if something comes along with world honors this year, then listen, I'll take it. I'm game. Like my ambition, my dream is to be a world champion. I've done British, and I'm happy I've done it. I'm happy I went this way, even though I lost and I came back. I've done it again. So I know I got what it takes to be a champion. But if that world honors and that comes knocking on the door, then listen, as a fighter, as a man, I have to take it. Do you know what I mean? Because essentially that's what I'm in this game for. But if that's obviously not on the table for this year, and I like I said, I do want to get out again one more time this year, then let's do it for let's have another domestic dust up somewhere and keep the belt, and then it's mine for good. But either option I'm happy with. I'm not kind of overlooking any option or saying nah, I'm past that. Listen, one more fight this year is for the British. Let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good. When you talk about world level, is there a particular title or a particular champion that you'd like to go for?
No, that the only newly crowned champion is Janibek. I was sort of assuming Golovkin would retire after this fight with Canelo, and that would free up 2 belts. So I just felt like the division was opening up. So I just want to be right there when the opportunities come knocking. So whoever it may be, whether it's whether it was going to be a vacant title that way, or a fight with someone that likes the Janibek or whatever, then so be it. Whichever one it is.
So has Golovkin disappointed you a little bit on a personal level that he didn't retire?
Yeah,
Ruined your plans.
You know what? Yeah, remember. Damn, I'm joking. But no, Golovkin's a great fighter. You know what I'm saying? He's getting on. He's getting old. It's just not that you don't want to fight Golovkin, because even sharing the ring with him will be an honor. That's a middleweight legend. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, sharing the ring with him would be an honor. But I just felt like he was getting old, and maybe he'd think, let's end my career on a high and move on, choose the division. But listen, I don't think any fighter's scared to fight anyone. I guess they just got to be worth your while. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it would be nice for him to retire. But if he doesn't, he's there, and that's a target. That's a potential opponent. The more I move forward, so why not?
Good stuff. Now, you said Janibek just then. We saw him most recently against Danny Dignam, of course, looked very impressive in that fight. What do you make of him? Have you seen a lot of him?
I think he's a great fighter. I think he's a very good fighter. Danny Dignam lost. It was a bad loss, but I don't really take nothing from that, because I know Danny Dignam's a good fighter. I know he's a good fighter. I think the occasion kind of got to him, and him being at that level kind of got to him. But in my opinion, that's what happens when you skip all the between stages. You know what I mean? That he had a good fight with I forgot that guy's name, the Southall kid. I think he was Irish, short guy. He stopped him. It was an MTK show. Tough guy. I forgot his name anyway, but he had a good fight with him. But you just need them domestic fights, them British title fights, them in between fights, to kind of get you ready for those moments. And I think he just skipped all of that. And like any fighter would take the opportunity, for at the time an interim world title at that stage in Vegas. That's the dream, innit? So he went for that, and it come back to bite him a little bit, but he can bounce back. He's not done. But I just think, and he had a good fight with Sorokin, actually. Let me not lie, but I think them in between championship fights would have helped him prepare for that moment with Janibek.
So you can avoid those similar kind of pitfalls. What are the sort of opponents you need to be fighting between now and a world title shot?
I think I fought a few good tough opponents, like back to back since Mark. So I think those fights would definitely help. I think a few fights with like former world champions and guys that have been there before, guys that have competed and fallen short. How do I hang with them guys? And then I'll know if I'm getting rid of them like these world champions are, or if I'm struggling just to scrape a win or losing, then maybe I've got to reassess certain things. But if I'm getting rid of them or beating them convincingly, then I'm one step closer to that kind of world level, world stage, world title.
Has Frank Warren given you an idea of how he sees it panning out, what his plan is?
No. I spoke to him briefly after the fight. He congratulated me that he was very excited about the fight, about the whole show in general. I've heard it was a great card. Of course, I didn't get to see none of the fights, but the atmosphere tells me I think it was a good card, good show, good fight. But of course, when I get back to the gym, we'll have a meeting with Frank and my manager Martin, and then we'll sit down and see what direction and what route we want to take and what route's best, and what's the best route to take to get me to that world level and get me prepared for that world level.
Good stuff. Now, you're going to be coming on our podcast. We will exclusively break the news next week. Looking forward to that. We've been trying to get you on a couple of times in the past, I believe, but we finally convinced you to risk coming to Potter's Bar. It's not always easy. But yeah, really looking forward to that. We're going to be talking a little bit on that occasion about Chris Eubank Jr. fighting Conor Benn, because it'll be the following week from when we film the podcast. Just briefly, because we don't want to, peak too soon. But what do you make of that fight?
I just talked with someone earlier about that as well. It's just one of those fights that are, I don't want to say gimmicky because that's a bit disrespectful, but it's like, it's just not a serious fight. You know what I'm saying? To them, it is. Obviously, their dad's legacy is on the line, and I fully respect that. That go honor your fathers. You feel me? But in terms of a boxing sense, I don't want to say there's no real substance because they're fighting for their dad's names. I don't want to be disrespectful, but it's just like you got middleweight fighting the welterweight, and the middleweight's being drained, and then the welterweight's getting up to like a weight they've never competed at. They probably train at that weight anyway, but I don't know, man. There's just no difference between this and what Jake Paul's doing, in my opinion. But you're earning money, so go do your thing, and you're honoring your dad's name, so that's that little bit of meaning behind it. But it's like me saying, "Hey, yo, Ellis, gear up, let's have a fight. I'll come to just over light heavy, and you come down, and we just fight." Do you know what I'm saying? It's just like it doesn't do anything for anyone apart from earn them a whole load of money and help them honor their father's names, innit?
Fair enough. Well, we can talk about that in more detail when you visit us next week. But for now, congratulations, of course. And yeah, can't wait to see you back out in action as well.
Thank you.
All right. Cheers, mate. Take care.